Hello everyone, welcome back to Aska Crochets. My name is Aska for those who do not know me, and if you're new to my channel, please subscribe and click that notification bell so that you get notified when I post a new video. So today's project, you're going to learn how to crochet this crochet baseball cap, and this is like my second time attempting this, and the first time actually came out really nice, as you can see. So you are going to make the second one with you guys. I hope you like it. Maybe later I'll make a more advanced tutorial on this. So for today we are going to learn how to make this one. Okay, so for the materials, you're going to need a plastic brim, you're going to need a tape measure, you're going to need a 3.5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a darning needle to weave off your ends, and a ball of yarn. So for the yarn, I'm using this Seagull 4-ply yarn. This is a 100% acrylic. It's a Kenyan brand. So I'm going to use one ball of this, and I would also recommend you use any other medium weight yarn. So before you start, you're going to take your circumference of your head measurement. So normally an adult size is like 21 to 22 inches. So I'm going to work with that, and also you are going to measure your plastic brim from this end to this other end. Mine measures 7 inches, so I'm going to work with that also, and you also measure from that point to this point. Mine measures like 2.9. You are measuring this because it varies. There are some that are large, there are some that are narrow. Okay, so now let's start. So you're going to start by making a knot. Insert your hook into the loop. You're going to start by making 26 chains. So you want the chains to measure 5.8. Okay, so you're going to measure it and stretch it a little bit. You see mine is enough. It measures 5.8. Okay, don't stretch it too much, just a little bit. Okay, after measuring that, you are now going to add 10 more chains. 1, that way. So in total we have 36 chains. Now we are going to start row number 1. You're going to add one more chain. In total 37 chains now. So into the second chain from the hook, you're going to make a decrease slip stitch. You go into the second chain from the hook, this one, and go into the third one at the same time, that way. Pull up a loop that way and make a slip stitch, pull through. Okay, so for the next 12 chains you're going to make slip stitches in each chain. Okay, I've made my 12 slip stitches. In the same stitch with the 12th one, you're going to add another slip stitch, that way. Now go to the next chain and make a slip stitch increase also. So you're going to insert your hook, make a slip stitch, and insert your hook into the same space and make another slip stitch. Okay, so that is 2. So remember, this is 13. Now we are going to do another 13. So we already made 2. So now for the next 11 chains, you are going to make one slip stitch in each chain. Because you have already made an increase on this one, you are going to make 11 slip stitches. I've made my 11 slip stitches. So when you count from this stitch to this end, you should be having 26 stitches. So the remaining chains that you should be having should be 11. So since you started with a decrease, you're going to end with a decrease. So you're going to continue making one slip stitch in each chain until the last 2 chains where we are going to do a decrease. I've made my 9 slip stitches. I'm left with 2 chains on this end, so I'm going to do a decrease on them. So you're going to insert your hook into the first one and into the second one. Pull up a loop through all, making a slip stitch. Okay, so in total you should be having 36 stitches. Okay, now let's go to row number 2. You're going to chain 1, turn your work. So insert your hook into the first stitch, back loop, and into the second stitch, back loop, and pull through all, making a slip stitch. You're going to make slip stitches in the next 20 stitches. Okay, so you continue. Make your slip stitches while counting. Make sure you have your 20 slip stitches. So it will be 21 slip stitches plus the decrease that we made at the start of the row. I've made my 21 slip stitches, 20 slip stitches plus the 1 decrease that you made here, so it's 21 slip stitches. So now into the next stitch that you have here, you're going to do an increase. Okay, so you're going to insert your hook back loop into the next stitch, make a slip stitch, insert your hook again into the same stitch, and make another slip stitch. You're going to go to the next stitch and make an increase also. That way. You're going to continue making your slip stitches, back loops only, until the end. You leave 2 stitches where you're going to make a decrease. I'm going to make the decrease now. That way. One side should be taller than the other side. So now let's go to row number 3. So for row number 3, you are going to repeat what you did on row number 2. Okay, you're going to start with a decrease, increase on the 2 points here, and decrease on this other end. Okay, now I'm done with my 3rd row. You can see how your work is curving. Let's go to row number 4. So you're going to repeat on row number 4. You're going to repeat what we did on row number 2 and row number 3. You're going to do a decrease on this side, 2 increases on this side, and the last point you're going to make a decrease. Okay, so I'll meet you after you finished your 4th row. I'm done with my 4 rows. So now you're going to continue with a different stitch. You're going to use single crochets from now on. So for row number 5 until row number 26, you're going to use single crochet. So let's go to row number 5. You're going to chain 1, turn your work. Then you're going to make a decrease on the first 2 stitches. On the middle part you are going to do 2 increases, and on the end you are going to do a decrease. Okay, so into the first stitch, back loops only, make a decrease, and now you continue with the same process, only that you are using single crochets. Okay, now let's go to row number 6. So for row number 6 you're going to repeat what we did on row number 5. I'm done with my row number 6, so your work should look like that. Okay, so the piece that we have made is going to fit that point. Okay, so now let's go to row number 7. You're going to chain 1, turn your work into the back loops only. You're going to make single crochet in each stitch until the end. Don't do any increase and don't do any decrease. Okay, so continue that way until the end of the row. I'm done with my row number 7. I did no increase, no decrease. So from row number 7 to row number 28, you are not going to do any increase nor any decrease. So I'll meet you after you are done with your 28 rows. Remember, you are going to work single crochets, back loops only. I'm done with my 28 rows, so now you're going to continue. Let's go to 29th row. You're going to chain 1, turn your work. So from the 29th row to the 36th row, you're going to do completely opposite of what we did on this part. Okay, so let's continue. Row number 29. You're going to chain 1 and do an increase on the first stitch with a single crochet back loop. After you've made your first increase, you're going to continue with single crochets, back loops only for the next 10 stitches. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So 10 plus the 2 increase, we have 12. So we are going to add 1 to make 13. But this one that we are adding here, we are going to do a decrease. So you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch and into the next stitch also. And you're going to make a decrease. Okay, so in total here we have 13 stitches. Now we go to the next stitch. You're going to do another decrease. Okay, remember on this side you are doing increase. Okay, so now we are going to do decrease. So insert your hook into the next stitch and into the next stitch and make a decrease that way. So you are going to continue to make 1 single crochet back loop in each stitch until the last stitch where you are going to do an increase. Okay, I'm at my last stitch. I'm going to do an increase that way. So in total you should be having 36 stitches. The stitches actually doesn't change. What changes is the position where you are increasing and decreasing. Now let's go to row number 30. You're going to chain 1 and do an increase on this point, 2 decreases on this point, and an increase on this point. Okay, so you're going to repeat what we did on row number 29, and I'll meet you after we reach this point. I'm approaching the end, so I'm done with row number 30. So now let's go to row number 31. So you are going to switch to slip stitches now. Okay, you're going to do these slip stitches. Okay, but remember that you are doing the opposite of what we did here. We are doing increases on the middle, but this side you're going to do decreases on the middle and increases on these ends. Okay, so you're going to chain one in the first stitch, and the last stitch you're going to do increase, slip stitch, increase. Okay, and when you get to the middle part, you're going to do 2 decreases. Okay, I have finished this row. So now we are remaining with 3 rows. So for the next 3 rows, I want you to repeat what we did on row number 31. We are working on the slip stitches only, and you are going to do increase on this side and on this side, and 2 decreases on this point. Okay, so you are going to do 3 more rows, and then I'll meet you at the end. I'm done with my 34 rows. Now we are going to join this point, this part, and this other part. Okay, so you are going to leave 10 stitches on this side and 10 stitches on this side. Okay, so join the 2 points with slip stitches. Okay, so you are going to count 10 stitches from this side. The 11th stitch is what you are going to start with. So remember to count the increase that we did on this side. Okay, so I'm going to start with my 11th stitch, which is this one. So I'm going to go into the back loop of that stitch and into the back loop of the first stitch on this side, and make a slip stitch, and you're going to make a slip stitch that way. Now go to the next stitch, back loop, and the other point, the other part, and the other side you're going to make a slip stitch. So you're going to continue that way until we meet at this corner. I'm almost getting to the middle point. There, I'm done. So you're going to chain one and cut off your yarn. So we are done with one side. So we are going to repeat what we did here on this side. So before we continue, you're going to use your darning needle to weave off these ends. Okay, you're going to weave them off on this part. Okay, this is the wrong side because you joined this part. Okay, you're going to weave off your ends on this side. Now you're going to turn your work inside out so that the right side is facing that way. And then from this point, you're going to figure out the 10th stitch on this side. Okay, so on every 10th stitch, that is what you are going to work on. So you're going to take a yarn and your darning needle, you're going to take a long yarn. You're going to place this plastic brim in here, that way. You're going to join it that way, okay? So you're going to join this part, the other side and this side, this way, okay? So we are going to first of all join it without putting the plastic brim. So it's better you join first until maybe 3/4, then we'll insert it, okay? So you're going to continue. So you're going to finish joining this part. I'm going to finish it, then we'll continue from there. So I'm done joining this part. You're going to weave off this yarn so that you can continue. So we are now done with this part, okay? You see how it looks like. So before we continue, I just want to say that if you had a lot of difficulty placing the plastic, like if the yarn is stretching too much, you can see the difference between this one. It's not really that stretched, it's loose, you can see, okay? So if you want, like, if you had a lot of difficulty placing the plastic brim, you can increase the number of stitches when you start, and also you can increase the number of rows, okay? That will help. But for me, I like it when it's tight. This one is good. So now let's continue. You're going to start from the first stitch. Take your yarn, make a loop, and you're going to chain one, okay? Now we are going to place 10 slip stitches. So you are going to work with slip stitches now, okay? So you should be having 10 slip stitches in total. I've made my 10 slip stitches. You're going to chain one, turn your work. You're going to work on back loops only, slip stitches in each stitch, okay? Chain one, turn your work. You're going to repeat the same process, back loops only, slip stitches. that way. Okay, I'm making the ribbing of the hat. I was working with head circumference of 21 inches. Okay, so I'm going to measure what I have first. So let's measure it. I have 9.5 inches. So I'm going to continue with the same process until I have 21 inches in total. So I'll meet you after you are done with your ribbing. Then I'll show you what to do next, okay? Take the measurement. I want it to be like 11.5, so I'm going to stretch it. So now let's continue. You're going to chain one and join it on the wrong side. Okay, you're going to join it on the wrong side. Don't join it on this side, join it on the wrong side. So you're going to insert your hook into the first stitch on this side and into the back loop of the first stitch on this other side. Make a slip stitch. Go to the next stitch, make a slip stitch. So you're going to join these two together until this point. You're going to chain one and cut off your yarn. So that is how it will look like. Now let's work on this part. Okay, so you're going to choose any point. You're going to choose any point. I'm going to start on at the back. Okay, so you're going to insert your hook, take your yarn and chain two. Place one double crochet into the same stitch that you made your chains, that way. Now into the next space, this is when you're going to place one double crochet. To the next space, place another one double crochet. So you are going to keep placing one double crochet in these spaces until you get to this point. When you get to this point, you're now going to place two double crochet in each of these spaces until you get to this other end. So you're going to place two double crochets together. Next space, two double crochets together. Next space, two double crochets together. So keep placing two double crochets together in each of these spaces until you get to this point. I'm done with making the 2 double crochets together. Now I'm going to continue working 1 double crochet in each of these middle spaces. So I'm going to continue until I get to this point. Now you're going to join it to the first stitch on this point and make a slip stitch. Okay, chain 2. Now you're going to work on row number 2. That is how it looks like. Now let's go to row number 2. You're going to chain 2 and place 1 double crochet in each stitch until the end of the row. I'm approaching the end of my second row. Chain 2, and now you're going to repeat what we did on row number 2 for the next 9 rows. Okay, so in total you'll be having 11 rows. If you have like more hair, you're going to need to add some more rows. This will fit a person with short hair, okay, or a man, but if you have long hair, you might consider adding some more rows. Okay, so you continue. I'll meet you after you are done. I've finished making my 11 rows. Now you're going to work on the top part. You're going to do some decreases. So you're going to chain 2. You're going to place 1 double crochet in the first stitch, 1 double crochet in the next, and 1 double crochet in the third one. So the next one you're going to make 1 decrease. Okay, so you're going to yarn over that way, go to the next one that way. So you will be having 4 loops on your hook. You're going to pull through 3 and pull through 2. That is a decrease. Now you're going to make 3 double crochets in the next 3 stitches. And you're going to make another decrease. That way. Place 3 double crochets in the next 3 stitches and do another decrease, repeating the same process until you get to the end of this row. I'm done with this row. You're going to chain 2, you go to the next row. So for the next row you're going to make 2 double crochets in 2 stitches, and the next stitch you are going to do a decrease. Okay, go to the next stitch, 1 double crochet, next 1 double crochet, and the third one you're going to do a decrease. Okay, so 2, then decrease. You're going to continue 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches, and then you do a decrease. So you're going to continue that way until the end of the row. So we're going to go to the next row. You're going to chain 2, and now you're going to make 1 double crochet in the first stitch and make a decrease in the next stitch. that way. Next, you're going to place 1 double crochet in the next stitch and a decrease. You see, 1 double crochet, then a decrease, 1 double crochet, then a decrease. So you continue that way until the end of this row. Going to join it with a slip stitch. Now you're going to chain 2 and do decreases, okay? That way. Go to the next 2 stitches and make a decrease. That way. Go to the next stitch also and make a decrease. So you can see that you are doing decreases, 2 double crochets is 1, okay? You're going to join it with a slip stitch and you pull a long yarn, okay, long enough to fasten off this space that is left, okay? You're going to use your darning needle and work on the wrong side, okay? So we are going to work on the wrong side of the work, okay? You're going to insert your needle in these stitches, okay? That way. That way. You're going to pull your yarn to fasten it off, okay, that way. Then you're going to weave off this end, okay? After that you're now going to remove these loose ends, any loose ends that you still have, and that's it, guys. Your cape is done. That is how it looks like. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you are new, please subscribe and click that notification bell. I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you.